Alexa, play Come Get This Work playlist on Apple Music.
Come Get This Work from Peter's Apple.
Man, this heavy rope, quarter pound, no hoe. Sorry if I wasn't too articulate on the bike. I was a little winded. But as I was saying, I have a couple calls today. I actually have some wine coming to the house today, so I'm gonna show you some wines. And then also a friend of ours is having a dinner tonight, so I'm gonna have my wines there. We're gonna have a good time, sip on some fine wine. But today I want to talk about an important topic when it comes to any business, and that's funding and getting started. So I'm gonna give you guys a look into our corporate playbook, and I'm gonna give you the rhyme and reason for why we're doing what we're doing as far as getting started and getting our business off the ground. I think you'll find it useful. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just giving you a look into the corporate playbook. So we're gonna talk about it. But first I gotta get ready for some calls, so I'll tune back in.
Thanks for being flexible and adapting to the change.
I'm going to show my screen. How's everybody doing? First off, I would just say keep an eye open, especially if we're talking about anything financially related. So, but if anybody has any questions, I am open to answer those.
Thanks, Peter.
All right, there goes UPS. Hopefully the wine is on board. Because if it's not, sorry, Jeremiah. It was supposed to be shipped here today, but hopefully it's on there. You don't know this, but I had to ship it last weekend. All right, don't go too fast. Stop. Oh, yeah. Think the wine is here. We are going to ship with UPS. Isn't that right, Booty? Now, don't go acting crazy. You ain't got to go bite them. Found a daggone UPS truck, but they ain't got my package on board. I had to hunt him down. Damn. Sorry, Jeremiah. Let me call the 1-800 number. So I done chased this UPS truck down. Damn package wasn't even on the bus. On the truck, I'm sorry. So they stopped by the house earlier, as y'all saw. They pulled out front. And I heard the engine start back up. They kept going. I went out there to talk to them. They said it ain't on there. So long story short, I had to work, so I didn't really get a chance to give y'all any updates between this morning and now. I had to work and I had some calls. I had to get in the shower, do all that fun stuff. But I'm trying to find my case of wine so I can take it to the dinner. I already talked to my guy, but next I'm gonna stop by the store and see if the box is at the store that it was supposed to have been shipped to. So wish me luck. Hopefully it's at the store. Alright, so I just arrived at my guy dinner event. I'm here with the wife. What's up, Jeremiah? My wife set up the table arrangement. Good job, Jimmy. And I was gonna bring a couple bottles of wine, and the UPS truck didn't have a box on the truck. Went to the store, it wasn't there, so I'm thinking the box may have gotten damaged. I hope not. So, but we still gonna have a good time. He bought some backup bottles. What you sipping on, Janae?
I have no idea what this is.
That's pretty good.
It's like a spritz?
Yeah, it's like a spritz, Aperol spritz.
You said it's an Aperol spritz?
Is Aperol?
Is it?
I thought so, yeah.
Oh, this is good.
Because of the color and then
I don't like Aperol spritz.
If you do it upright, it's pretty good. Cheers. But no, we had a ball. So every dish that came out was paired with the wine. And the first dish was actually paired with the cocktail.
What you text us?
Hey,
Tricking off ain't easy.
tricking off ain't easy. Check him out on Instagram. He keep his wine. He got so much wine, he got to keep it in storage.
This is a valid fact. I gotta get it at the armory.
Man, I'm trying to get like my man. All right, my brother.
See ya.
All right. Now we had a ball at our friend Jeremiah wine pairing dinner at La Pernada out here in Cascade Heights, ATL, GA.
Yes.
We having so much fun, we forgot what time it is. We gotta go get Preston. What do we have here? It finally came. Now UPS wrong for this. Look, I knew it was damaged. That's why I got it late. Damn. So I shipped 12 bottles. I received 11. The box is damaged, which explains why I'm getting the box a day late. But as the saying goes, a day late, dollar short. Overall, we had a really good time last night at our friend's dinner and wine pairing. We had some really excellent food, some really good wines to pair it with, and a cocktail to pair with one of the dishes. La Pernada, Cascade Heights, here in the ATL. As you saw, the chef is actually shutting that restaurant down, but it was really good. Now, one of the wines that we were supposed to have last night is a wine that is near and dear to my partners and myself. You see it? It's called The Dream. So this wine is a collaboration of a couple different wineries, including ourselves and a few individuals. So I sit on a nonprofit called the Michigan Wine Collab. We have a committee, inclusion and expansion, and the members of the committee decided to get together and create a project wine to help create some scholarships for underserved individuals. And the good folks of Chateau Chantel up in Traverse City, Michigan. If you don't know, Michigan is, but yeah, Detroit's here, Traverse City's up here. So I drove up there, worked with the winemaker Brian Hosmer. We selected some wines. A few other individuals got together. GR Noir out of Grand Rapids, which is a wine bar downtown. Regina Gaines, House of Pure Van. Chuck Jackson, which is like a maestro. He's big in wine in Detroit. And as well as a few other members on the collaborative. But we got together, did some tasting panels, created this wine. It's available for sale at over 100 retailers in the state of Michigan. However, it's mostly sold out. I know Costco still has some. So if you want to support the cause, purchase The Dream. Another wine, I'll show you a wine that is actually of Drew Ryan. This is actually a prototype, something a little different. This is a cab sauv that we put together, so I brought that down. Another wine, our good friends at Detroit Vineyards. I love their 21 Merlot. This is a really good wine. If you are in the Detroit area, this is one of my favorite wines by them. You should definitely try it. I bought the Cab Franc. These are all wines that I had at the house back home in Michigan. And I think that's all the wines. I got a wine in here. I'm not going to tell you about this one. This is special. And another one of our Cab Sauvs. Damn. Nice little prototype with the shoe tag on the side. But yeah, we'll have some more wines coming soon. We have a lot in store for y'all. But one topic I do want to talk about is bootstrapping versus taking out a loan to get a business started. So I'm sharing, like I said earlier, I'm going to share with you, I'll give you a view into our corporate playbook. So I think I'm going to go to the desk and then we can talk about it in there. Hey, let me tell you something. Never take advice from somebody that's trying to sell you something. Free game. Well, I am trying to sell you some wine, but I promise I'm not trying to sell you any financial product. So let's dive into the topic that's fundamental to every business, and that's how to go about funding. And as I mentioned earlier throughout this video, today we're going to talk about bootstrapping versus taking out a loan. Now, to explain this topic, we're going to open up our corporate playbook for our winery and vineyard. And I'm going to walk you through how we drew up the X's and O's to be able to choose to either bootstrap, take out a loan, or even seek an investor. Now, one disclaimer I want to throw out there is we are a small business. So the X's and O's that's in our playbook does not apply to someone who's trying to become a unicorn or seek unicorn status. I think it goes without saying, due to the economy of scale of trying to become a unicorn, you either need to go to VC track or seek some type of indie funding. Now, everyone understands what a loan is, and social media ensures that for sure. But I'm going to give you a quick spew on the definition of bootstrapping. And all bootstrapping really is taking your personal savings to fund your business, or receiving funding from a close relative or maybe a friend of the family whose intent is to invest in you, the person, more so than the actual business. And it typically doesn't even matter to them which industry you're trying to enterprise in. They're making an investment in you to see you win. Now, that's still considered bootstrapping. Now, the X's and O's are already drawn up as far as which direction we're going in. But before I can walk you through the play, we must discuss the fundamentals. And just like in sports, if the players on the court don't have proper fundamentals, it doesn't matter how well that play is drawn up. Now, the first fundamental of the game is a sound and fundamental understanding of the importance of cash flows. It's almost like we need to have a moment of silence in the name of cash flows. I mean, in this social media era, they talk about credit this, credit that, without talking about the importance of cash flows. Cash flows is like the 700-pound gorilla sitting in the room. It's often overlooked, and not enough emphasis is placed on cash flows. Now, don't get me wrong. Good credit serves its purpose, but strong cash flows is the straw that stirs the drink. And it should be the first thing that's discussed before making the decision to enterprise. Now, the second fundamental of the game is how to size a market in relation to making the proper decision to either bootstrap, take out a loan, or seeking an investor. Now, it's important to be able to size a market because you never want to enter a market off the dribble. Now, it's a lot more that goes into sizing the market, but we're going to keep it simple as it relates to choosing which type of funding is ideal. Now, to size a market, we just need to do a little bit of napkin economics. Now, in all honesty, once I lay the economics on you, the decision of which type of funding we should go with is very, very simple. Now, to properly size a market, we have to understand the law of supply and the law of demand. And I believe pretty much everyone should have taken high school economics. And if you majored in business, you for sure have taken economics 101. I majored in accounting, so I've taken my fair share of classes. But again, I'm going to give you a quick refresher because we're doing napkin economics. So here's a supply and demand curve. So you have a supply curve, you have a demand curve, and in the middle, you have your equilibrium point. That's all we need to know. So let's get rid of this. Now next, instead of using that supply and demand curve, let's pretend like we have a line, like right here. And on one side of the line, we have industries where the products and services sold in that industry, where demand is greater than supply. And now, as we go on the polar opposite side, we have industries where those products and services that sold, the supply is greater than the demand, which is here. Okay? Now, we're going to put our equilibrium point in the middle of this line. Now, on the extreme side where demand is greater than supply, industries under this category tend to be generational buying opportunities or a breakthrough in science or technology. And this is where MBA students try to target their theses to find demand opportunities in the market. Now, because demand is greater than supply, demand can be somewhat measurable, and this serves as collateral for a loan. Now, these are the type of loans investment bankers dream of. But there is some market risk over here, which is referred to as pent-up demand. We'll touch on that later. Now, timing over here is most important because demand is very high. You want your product or service to be quick to market, meaning you don't have time to bootstrap. Now, as we move on down the line, we're going to circle back on some industries that fall right here on the equilibrium point. Now, let's move on down the line where supply is greater than demand. Now, on this side of the line where supply is greater than demand, this is where most industries fall under. We're talking retail, restaurants, manufacturing, and whatnot. Now, on this side of the economy, many business challenges are present. So these industries and the products and services sold are economically sensitive and come with limited balance sheet flexibility. Now, the enterpriser has to be in good financial shape and must exercise financial discipline. VCs struggle with this, but that's a topic for a different day. Now, demand is not always predictable or measurable, so it would take some time to determine where the puck is going, and a rush to market can backfire. However, you don't want to be slow off the blocks either, but think of it as You want the train to run on time when it comes to releasing your product or service to market. Now, when does it make sense to take out a loan? Preferably when your product or service is on the demand side and the demand for that service is greater than the supply. So if you're one of the few players in town that's offering that product or service, then by all means, do not waste your time trying to bootstrap. Now, if your business is on the supply side, you can still take out a loan, but you need to have demonstrated and measurable demand, plus a history of cash flows, whatever those cash flows may be, before taking out a loan. Now that I've explained the fundamentals, we can use the law of supply and the law of demand as a measuring stick to size up the market that we plan to enter. Now I can walk you through how we drew up the play. A good example of an industry we can look into is the, drumroll please, spirits and wine industry, the industry that we're enterprising in. Now, as we look at this industry, there's an endless supply of wines and spirits out there in the market. For instance, there are more barrels of bourbon in the state of Kentucky than there are people. And now in regards to our winery, simply just releasing our wines into the market would not be enough. It's going to take some sound marketing and advertising, plus a quality product to stand out from the competition. So it goes without saying, we're deciding to bootstrap. And until we have demonstrated and measurable demand, we won't be touching any loans. Now, I know this goes against what you probably might hear out there on social media, and I must be honest, it's some terrible advice out there. In fact, it's some people who have no business giving financial advice. Now, if someone is telling you to take out a loan or seek out some type of business credit without mentioning the importance of evaluating your cash flows beforehand, then that advice is not fundamentally sound. Also, a term that's often misused is using other people's money. What using other people's money really means is, can you beat the interest? Let me give you an example. If I have $100 in the bank and I take out a $100 loan, well, first off, I'm not truly borrowing $100. I'm borrowing $100 plus the interest on that $100. But can I beat the interest that's attached to that? So for instance, if my interest rate is 5%, I need to sell enough wine to at least make a 6% return in order to make money. This is the very reason why billionaires take out mortgages instead of paying cash to buy a home. Mortgages have some of the lowest interest rates, around 3-4%, which is better than any business or commercial loan available on the market. So as long as that billionaire investment is earning them more than 3%, they're making money. Now that's the definition of using other people's money. Well, let me put something in perspective for you. Let's say we take out a loan before we have established cash flows, and our business does generate enough cash flow to pay for the expenses. Well, there's a risk there may not be a big enough gap between the income and the expenses. Now, remember everything I mentioned earlier about being financially disciplined. Now, that loan is going to force you to be disciplined, but on its terms. Whereas with bootstrapping, we're practicing financial discipline on our terms. When it comes to defaulting on a loan, I've heard stories of where people went out of business, filed for bankruptcy, and it still took them 7 to 8 years to pay that loan back. I'd rather spend 7 to 8 years getting in financial shape and establishing steady cash flows.